Welcome in. Today I've got just 2 or 3 things to touch up in my game, so let's start with something simple. This is not something simple. In this room, when the shelf collapses, well, the boxes don't. Now, I could say it's not a bug, it's a feature, and pretend the ghosts are holding the boxes up, but instead I'll just unanchor these boxes, because for now I'm too lazy to add code to the trigger that unanchors the boxes when the shelf collapses, so I'll just have them unanchored all the time. World's most durable cardboard, but what are you gonna do? Next we have some Z fighting in the maintenance By the way, does anyone have a really hard time remembering how to spell the word maintenance, or is that just a me thing? Forget it, that's fixed now. Now that I'm no longer too lazy to work on code, the patrolling ghosts are still not quite common enough for my liking, so let's fix that. Unfortunately, I was being a noob when I designed these because I hard-coded the RNG instead of referring to a set of values stored in the lighting or something. So I have to change the code for each of the ghost scripts. But that gives me an idea. Let's add a set of values stored in the lighting or something and have the ghost code refer to that instead. Yeah, make sense of those sentences if you can. We'll call our new set of numbers coin toss since it is going to be a 50-50 chance. Now I know that seems really generous, but hey, even if these guys do appear, it's very briefly and you do have to be in the right place at the right time to see them, so it evens out. Now that we've made the coin toss dice set, that being a minimum number to land on and a maximum number to land on, we can change the... You know what, let's call it wandering ghosts. That way, if ever I say, oops, never mind, and once again decide to make these guys more rare, it will be as easy as changing the maximum number of the value instead of changing all of the scripts one by one in each ghost. All the patrolling ghosts have the same appearing scripts, so I'll just copy and paste the whole thing. It's quicker that way. I love corner cutting. Glad that's over. All those 1s and 0s are making my right brain hurt, so let's do something a bit more left-brained, more artistic instead of logical, for those who don't know. This texture for the ceiling is a little too dark in my opinion, so let's lighten that up a bit. The more I look at panel ceilings like this one in real life, the more I realize they try their darndest to match the color of the support grid with the color of the panels themselves. So I will go and do likewise. Okay, back to the logical side of things. The game has a bit of a ping problem at the moment, and I know some of that can be blamed on Roblox's servers, but I can't use that as an excuse to just ignore this, so let's take the tiny amount of research I've done on game optimization and change some scripts. One thing that could really contribute to the ping is while loops with a tiny little wait open parenthesis closing parenthesis thing. As you can see, the script that makes the camera GUI's static move around has something like that. A lot of it. So let's change it to a wait 0.1. That doesn't sound like much, I know, but trust me, it is. Here's before, and here's after. But honestly, I think I kinda like the slower static anyway. For some reason, it has me anticipating a jump scare. Kinda reminds me of the spooky Ring camera footage videos, you know what I'm talking about? Anyway, there is still room for improvement here, so let's disable this script and then add some code in the tool script itself that re-enables it once the tool is equipped. Now that won't be running in the background. I'm also going to come over to these lights and optimize these scripts real quick. Done. Optimized. But we could do some optimization for the ghosts as well. Something that takes a load off the game is to avoid making it do the same math over and over again. So in the appearing timers for these ghosts, let's assign some of these magic numbers, as they're called in the appdev field, to some variables at the start. Then we'll have the loop use those instead. Great, now I just need to do this for all of these guys. But wait. Before I do that, there is another vital problem that needs solving. These guys don't always disappear when they're triggered. Yeah, I know. Comical, isn't it? Anyway, I spent a good half hour on a public server trying to trigger them over and over again, so I might figure out what the heck is going on here. It turns out, if they're activated, the cooldown doesn't start. I repeat, if they're activated, the cooldown doesn't start. So you could potentially trigger them 2 or 3 times over all at once, which broke them somehow. I don't know, but this is a perfect example of having the right code in the wrong place. Let's just make this cooldown happen no matter what. Lucky those print statements were there, or I would have gotten a headache looking at this script for hours. But that reminds me, too many of these print statements can also contribute to ping if there's too many of them. So let's do a quick find and replace print with hyphen print to automatically comment all of those out in this script. That way they'll still be there if I need to use them for debugging purposes again. Since we're running out of time for this video, I'll use the magic of editing to instantly copy our changes across all the bed hiders, the hanging ghosts, and all the other main types of ghosts. But one of the biggest causes of lag and or ping is unoptimized parts or models. Now I think I upgraded the game's doors before I learned about all this optimization stuff, but as a random Kim Possible character once said, a problem is just a misunderstood opportunity. Maybe someone else said it first, I don't know, I don't care. I like Kim Possible. The point is, since all of these doors are prefabs that get automatically copied across the entire game once the server starts, we have an opportunity to optimize a lot of the game's parts just by changing the door templates. For all the new viewers who have no idea what the heck I'm talking about, I'll explain. These are the door templates. These are the door placeholders. Each placeholder has a set of information and a script. The script uses the information to know which type of door needs to be swapped out with the placeholder. So, when the game first starts, each placeholder automatically replaces itself with the right type of door. I made this system so that if I ever need to make changes to all the doors in the game, like I'm doing right now, I just need to change the templates that get copied throughout the map. That way I don't have to manually replace every single door in the building. Now that I've probably bored you to tears, let me talk about something more engaging. Property management. See all of these properties? That's all data that the game has to work with, and this is just the data for one part. By micromanaging some of these, we can make the game's job easier, reducing lag. The big ones we should focus on in this case are can collide, can touch, and cast shadow. We want to be able to collide with these doors, obviously, otherwise the doors would be pointless, so we will leave that checked for the main part of the door. But we don't need collisions on the door handles or hinges, since they're so small. We also don't need the game to recognize when we've touched any of those, so we'll go ahead and uncheck can touch. But cast shadow is the big one, since the game uses the most graphically demanding lighting mode Roblox offers, future lighting. Basically, if this box is checked for a part, the game has to calculate and render the exact size, shape, intensity, and placement of a shadow in real time. That is a lot of behind-the-scenes math that we could avoid just by unchecking this little box for some of these parts. Now that should probably still be checked for the main part of the door since it's so big, but the door handle, the frame, the hinges, none of those need shadows. Finally, let's also set the render fidelity of the door handles to performance. This means the further away you get from them, the less accurately the game will draw up the shape of them. Since most of the game is just closed-in corridors, that won't be an issue at all. There's also some invisible parts of the door to manage the properties of, and all of these things could be a union instead of individual parts. Why did I not do that sooner? And done. With one of the door types.
2 hours later.
And done. And with that, I think I've earned a well-deserved break. Let's publish these hang on, let's not forget to make the game darker again. Right. Okay, now let's publish these changes and see who comes a-playin'. Thanks so much for watching. Drop a like if you enjoyed and subscribe to see more.